So the thing that I'd like to share with you today, thank you for coming to this channel, is a little tidbit I learned from someone who I never thought I'd learn something from. In fact, I thought I'd walk away with a job, an hourly wage. But what he said was a lot more helpful than an hourly wage. So here's the story. I was living in Iowa, and through circumstances, I lost my job. Uh, I think it was after the Great Recession. And so I needed to look for a tech job. And my job was done. I think I had become a manager at a company, manager over like operations and website building and all that. Anyway, so I had to do some traveling and try to get a job. So I took a trip. I found a job to apply to up here in the Twin Cities where I live now. And so I planned the day and I started up on my way, and I'm navigating downtown Minneapolis. And I come to the place. It's a really cool place. You know, it's a renovated warehouse where they have a tech company. They do apps. And I just remember how excited I was to walk in there and think, this could be it. I could have the job, because I really thought that I was going to get it. I went through the interview, and I remember coming back out and sitting down, and they wanted to talk to me. The owner of the business wanted to come talk to me. And I thought, this is it. I've got the job. And I'll never forget when he said 5 words. But before he said 5 words, and I'll tell you what those are, he said something that disheartened me. So, you know, I'd taken this trip, and it's like a 3.5 hour, 4-hour drive to get there. And I'm tired, and I'm all dressed up, and had to find parking and all that. So I'm exhausted, and I'm just ready to be relieved that I'm going to get this job, because when else does the owner want to talk to you? Well, he came out and he said, I have some bad news. You didn't get the position. But I have a question. Have you ever thought about doing work other than full-time employment? And I said, what do you mean? He says, you should be a contractor. Those were the 5 words I still remember. You should be a contractor. And I had never heard of what a contractor is before that. And so I said, what does that mean? You know, I'm trying to glean what I can from this conversation. And he said, well, a contractor is someone who doesn't take full-time employment with a certain company, but they'll take short-term, high-paying contracts and get work done in that way. And I said, well, thank you for that idea. And I got up and I shook hands, and I went out of there, and I had a 3.5, 4-hour, maybe 5-hour trip home if I'm going to eat dinner, and got home, and that was it. Back in Iowa, to my wife and all my kids. I think I had 5 children at that time, by then. So, you know, I told my wife, Jen, told her the bad news. And I don't know if I mentioned the contractor thing, but something happened after that. I started to research what a contractor was. And before that, I think I had talked to recruiters, and they'd said, you know, do you want a contract? But I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't understand how powerful a contract could be. And so I just didn't want it. Maybe it was, I saw, you know, a 6-month position or whatever. And I didn't want that. I wanted full-time, long-term. So I want to give you a little tip here. And that is from my own experience and that of the people that have helped. A contract can be a gateway into the rest of your career. For me, it was. So after that advice, I believe I took 2 contracts, and that gave me cash. Generally, a contract in tech will pay twice an hourly wage that's twice, try to aim for this, twice of what you normally get for an hourly wage. So let's say that you were earning 100K to make it easy. Okay, easy for math, 100K. And I usually, because there's 52 weeks, that's not why, but this is how the math works generally. Is if you're making 100K, that means you're making half of that divided by 100. Yeah, half. So divide that by 100, and you got 1,000. Okay. Am I making any sense? Probably not. All right. Believe it or not, I was in advanced math explaining this in my head. One time I went through the numbers and I realized I could just basically take off the 1,000, divide it by 1,000, and then cut it in half, and that's the hourly. So 100,000 divided by 1,000 is 100, divided by 2 is 50. That's the hourly wage. That's the hourly wage for a salary, 100K salary. So there we go. There's some help for you. If I got that wrong, would you put it in the comments? Let me know. And if I got it right, you can subscribe and like this video. So I knew I did something right. But really, I want to help you. So when you get and you're looking through Indeed or LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or Salary or Glassdoor, all of these websites, and there are many more, and you see contract, and you wonder how much will that pay. Generally, that'll pay kind of the going wage, hourly wage, times 2. And that is because you have to take care of your taxes, your health care, your other expenses, and all of those come off, and you'll be taxed on that as well. So you'll have self-employment tax if the contract is under your name. Sometimes a contract will be under a recruiter or an agency's name, such as Robert Half. That's a global, the biggest one in the world, I think. One of them, Accenture. That's more consulting. So, yeah, the reason that contracting, for me, I should be a contractor. You should be a contractor. Those 5 words are so valuable because I was able to then get a couple short-term contracts. One was like a month. They just needed people to come in and fix part of the app. That was in Minneapolis. And I got another one, and that was also in Minneapolis. And then I realized this is a good thing. I can get a lot of cash up front. And because I wasn't making much money from a full-time salary at that point, I had some dips in income. And so these short-term contracts really, really saved me and saved my family's income. So that's one of the things you should be aware of. If you're not keen to what a contract is, you might be scared of it or just not know to look for it. So there's a little key for you. So I hope that helps you. And maybe you should say to yourself, I should be a contractor. And look for those types of things. Or look for a recruiter offers contracts, short-term contracts. One thing that pops to my mind right now is this like a temp agency that you go through? Not necessarily. Generally, when I hear temp agency, there are temporary jobs that have a lower barrier of income. And if you're just starting out in tech, a temp agency might be something that you use and go through. I have done that in very small, kind of non-technical work, like data entry and all that. So you may find temp agency, Manpower, whatever they have out there now, might be good for you. But just consider a contract. That's the tip of the day. And it's already past my tea time, so I can't drink at that anymore. So thanks for joining me. If you like this, help encourage me to make more by hitting like, or just don't like it. If you don't like it, just let it be. That's fine. I'll learn, and I'm sure YouTube will learn what is good and what's going to come across your feed. Have a great day, and thanks again for watching.